All righty, we are going to start off by reviewing our DMR from yesterday. You have some new skills that you are looking at for the week. These skills are majority about fractions, which is good news because good Lord, children, the fraction assignment y'all turned in yesterday was hurting, needs some help. So we're going to take some help today, but we want to make sure we understand this. Alrighty, first of all, your name. You should have been able to type your name. And it's not going to let me type my name, so let's turn this off. Haha, there we go. Alrighty, Mrs. Sousa, this is my quiz. All right, complete the fraction with the missing numerator or denominator that matches the model. If I didn't know what numerators or denominators were, I can get out my trusty dusty notebook. And I can see that the bottom number is missing, and the bottom number in a fraction is a denominator. A denominator tells how many parts are there in the whole. There are two parts. There's a white part. There is a lime green part. 2 should have been your correct answer. Next one, which part of the fraction is missing? We just answered that. Boom, the denominator is the bottom number in a fraction, so the denominator is missing. 4, name the unit fraction shown by the model. I don't know what a unit fraction is. Good thing I have a trusty dusty notebook. 1 part of a whole, 1 part. Looking at this fraction, there are 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of them is called 1/4 because there are 4 parts. Okay, let me pull you people down here so I can see your faces. Questions on those? Oh, look at that. We got 4 more people trying to come in here. Let me get them on here. Questions. 11.
Could you go back to the to the first one?
I sure can. This one right here?
Yes, this one.
Yes, what is your question?
When I was doing that, I didn't, I knew it was 2, but I did 1 second.
So that is called 1/2. So, yeah. Yep. So the directions say to complete the fraction with the missing numerator or denominator. So our numerator is in number form, so our denominator should also be in number form. We won't write fractions with a number on top and a word on the bottom. Okay, so it's going to be in the number form.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good distinction. Thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions so far on our fractions DMR? We have a couple more to go through. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. How many unit fractions make up the colored portion of this shape? This is the shape. There are 4 parts. 3 of the parts are colored orange. 1 of the parts is left blank. That means there are 3 unit fractions that are colored. 1, 2, 3. Questions on that? Okay. Number 5, find the area of the rectangle. We have a reminder that area is length times width. Our length is 6 inches. Our width is 3 inches. I talked with our DMR creator and they have created and checked their labels. So you should have found the answer to be 18 inches squared because 6 times 3 or 3 times 6 is equal to 18. 6, 12, 18, or counting by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Either way, and that squared goes with our area. Any questions on area? Alrighty. Perimeter. We have a nice reminder here that perimeter is equal to 2 lengths plus 2 widths. This rectangle has 2 lengths. The bottom and the top are 6 inches. The right and the left are 3 inches. So we are going to add 6 plus 6 plus 3 plus 3. This is a great time to practice some mental math. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 3 more is 13, 14, 15. Plus 3 more is 16, 17, 18. So in this example, the perimeter and the area happen to have the same number. The label is different. We are only going around the outside edge, so we are not creating squares of length and width. We are only measuring one dimension along the outside. Okay. Final one was a think about it. If each ball in this group equals 1/4 of the total group, what fraction of the group is 2? So if this ball is 1/4, and this ball is 1/4, and this ball is 1/4, and this ball is 1/4, if I were to have 2 of them, 1, 2, I would have, there we go, I would have 2/4, okay, because I had 2 1/4 pieces. This is where we got really confused on yesterday's math, so we're going to go over that today, okay? Any questions on that? All right, awesome. Okay, so as I shared with you, our work from yesterday was a hot mess, okay? So we are actually going to work on redoing it today. So we are going to redo this, and then you're going to get a new assignment with the opportunity to fix that and to look over it, okay? So I'm actually going to edit something really quick so that this goes to you later. And then, there we go, beautiful. Okay, so what I want for you to do is to go to your activities, and I'd like for you to go to yesterday's math, okay? Yesterday's math. As I was reviewing this, I was typing the same notes to everybody because we seemed to be confused about the same thing, okay? So go to your activities, scroll down to yesterday's math, which was called 12-2 fractions and regions day 1, okay? 12-2 fractions and regions day 1. And some of y'all returned these back to me, so I'm going to give them back to you so you can edit them. Okay, I want you to open up your work from yesterday. So I'm going to click on my work from yesterday. I'm going to select edit. Everybody is editing their work from yesterday. Everybody. Click on edit post. Okay, we're not going to redo the parts that we did together because we already did them together. We're going to take a look at your independent slides. Your independent slides began on slide 5. Please open up to slide 5 of yesterday's work. Okay, yesterday's work. All right. If you do not have your notebook, I want you to get it next to you. And I want you to be open to the page that defines numerator and denominator. We had some major confusions with our numerators and denominators yesterday, so we're going to read those notes before we start working, okay? So you are on slide 5 of yesterday's work. All right. Denominator is the number of all parts, okay? I want us to write a little note to ourselves. Go ahead and put a fraction bar in between your two pictures. On
Did
the
we
top,
erase our answers?
I'm not there yet. On the top, I want you to write colored or shaded. Okay, on the top, I want you to write colored or shaded. In this example, it happens to be the color blue. So I'm going to make that blue. Below your fraction bar, I want you to put all parts. Okay, this is a good reminder to you of the difference between a numerator and a denominator. The top number is going to be the number that are shaded or all of the parts. The bottom number is going to be all parts on the whole fraction, okay? William, a question.
Can I share my screen because my assignment is not the same as yours?
On slide 5?
Yeah.
Sure. All righty. So denominator is all of the parts. Take a look at this model. I want you to grab a dot. I want you to put a dot on each part. 1, 2. The denominator of this fraction is a 2. If you had a 2, great. If you did not have a 2, fix it. Most of you had this part right. When we get to the bottom is where we had a lot of mistakes. Unit fraction, according to my notes, that is the name of one part. It says fraction. A lot of you put a 1. That's not a fraction. You need a fraction called 1/2, because one part of this picture is 1/2. Because there are 2 parts. Our top number is the number colored or shaded, and this asks us about one piece. And the bottom number is all of the parts on the triangle. There are 2 parts. If you had 1/2, great. If you did not, put it there now. Number of blue parts. I'm going to put this in blue so it's very easy. Number of blue parts. Look, there's 1. It's right here. It says number of blue parts, not fraction. Number. You should have a 1. Now it says fraction of blue parts. This is where all the mistakes were. 1 part is blue. There are 2 parts. So our fraction is 1/2. A lot of you had 1 whole. You had 1/1. Nope. It didn't ask you to put the number of blue on top of the number of yellow. It asked you for how many are blue. 1 out of the 2 parts are blue. You need 1/2 right there. Okay?
Miss Sousa,
Yes, Terrence.
can I share my screen?
What do you need, Terrence?
My Zoom is going big and I'm not even in full screen.
I won't be able to see your Zoom when you share your screen. Okay, let's take number 8. Okay, number 8 says denominator, number of all parts. Take your dot. 1, I want you to put dots on all the parts because this was a hot mess. 4, 5, 6. There are 6 parts. And notice it says number of all parts, not fraction of all parts. The unit fraction notebook is 1 part. 1 part would be called 1/6. 6 is my denominator because it tells how many are on all of the shape. So a unit fraction of this picture is 1/6. Number of blue parts. This is where you guys messed up. The number of blue parts is 3. 1 blue part, 2 blue parts, 3 blue parts. This says the fraction of blue parts. 3 of the parts are blue. Here's where you guys messed up. There are still 6 parts. A lot of students put 3/3. They put 3/3. This does not ask you how many parts are blue on top and how many parts are not blue on bottom. It says how many parts of all of the shape are blue. So that denominator, that bottom number, has to be all of the parts, 6. What questions can I answer about 7 and 8? Because you're getting an assignment like this today that I am taking a grade on, and it was very clear that you were confused yesterday. I want questions about math right now. Questions about this math are good. I am not answering questions about anything else, only math. Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. Let's take a look at 6. This is the last one that we're going to look at together. My directions: write the unit fraction that represents each part of the whole. Then write the number of blue parts and the fraction of the whole that is blue. Okay? So let's take a look at number 9. Number of all parts. Get your dot ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 parts on this circle. We did good on that one. We got that. The unit fraction notebook is 1 part of a whole. 1 part has a numerator of 1, and the whole has 4 parts. So the unit fraction is 1/4. If you had 1/4, great. If you did not have 1/4, put it now. Number of blue parts. Number of blue parts. There are 2. 1, 2. 2 parts are blue. Okay. Fraction of blue parts. Here's where the mistakes were. 2 parts are blue. There are 4 parts. This fraction should have said 2/4. Most of you put 2/2. You put 2 are blue, and on the bottom you put 2 are yellow. That is not how fractions work. Our denominator tells us how many parts are in the whole. There are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have to have a 4 on the bottom of our fraction. Okay. Last one. This was the worst one. This was the one that we did the worst on. So I'm expecting a lot of questions on this one. Okay. Denominator, number of all parts. Get your dot ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 parts on this whole fraction. The unit fraction. notebook is one part of a whole. One of the 8 parts, 1/8. And if that's difficult for you to write, remember you can always use the label tool and type 1/8 as well. 1/8 is the name of the unit fraction. Most of you did not have 1/8. Fix it now. Next one, number of blue parts. I'm going to change my pen to blue so it's very clear. There are 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 blue parts. The fraction blue parts, there are 6 parts that are blue. There are 8 parts on the whole fraction. A lot of you put 6/2. You said 6 parts are blue, 2 are not. That is wrong. That's not how fractions work. Our notes tell us the denominator is the number of parts on the whole. On this rectangle, there are 8 parts. So our denominator must say 8, okay? Questions on this? I want questions. Questions are good. If you don't ask questions, it tells me that you understand everything and I can move on. So when I don't see questions, that means I'm going to get 17 A pluses because you have a perfect understanding. Yes, Leah. Remember, copying is not learning. You have to actively think, does it make sense? Okay. All right. Click the green check to turn that in now that you have fixed it. Click the green check, okay? We're going to look at today's lesson, which is going to be very short because redoing what we did yesterday, but today I'm going to take a grade. I wanted to take a grade yesterday, but I could not. Listen this back. There we go. All right. So now we're going to take a look at fractions day 2. So we're going to look at this again. Okay. 1 second, please. I know I'm sounding choppy. Here we go. Okay. In your activities, you have a new activity unlocked. Fractions and regions day 2. Go ahead and click on add response. This is going to work like yesterday. We're going to do some of these together. The rest is going to be on your own. Okay. To get us started with your understanding, I'm going to play this Another Look video for you. This is 1 minute and 40 seconds of what you are going to be doing. Levin, a question before we start.
On the other assignment, it didn't let me draw, but I did it. I did it earlier. It didn't let me use the pencil tool or anything.
Okay, stay on with me after and we can try to figure that out. All righty. So here we go. We're going to take a look at how this looks. This is a different way to think about it. You need to be thinking, does this make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, you need to ask a question when we get done. Okay? All righty, here it is.
Carlos and I are going to talk about fractions today. A fraction is what we call part of a whole. The whole has to be divided up into equal parts to be called fractions. Like slices of pizza? Exactly. In fact, if we look at this pizza, it is divided into 6 equal parts. One of those parts is called 1/6. it into a different number of parts? Good question. Let's try another example. That square is divided up into fractions because it has 3 equal parts. You've got it. We want to know what fraction of the square is shaded in. First, let's learn a little bit more about a fraction. When we write fractions, we put one number on the top and one number on the bottom. What goes in which spot? Well, the total number of parts goes on the bottom and is called the denominator. So with this square, 3 is the denominator because there are 3 equal parts. Right. Then the numerator, or number on top, is the number of units we are describing. Since we want the fraction that's shaded, that's 2 parts. 2/3 of the square is shaded in. You've got it, Carlos. You should figure out what fraction of that pizza got eaten by all of your friends. Oh no! Carlos and I will see you next time.
Okay, so understanding when we have a model that is shaded, the top number is how many are colored. The bottom number is how many are on the whole thing. What questions can I answer about that? Okay. Going back, let's look at slide 2. Slide 2 says with the teacher. This is very similar to what we just did. Directions say write the unit fraction that represents each part of the whole. Next, write the number of a parts. Then write the fraction of the whole that is shaded. So we have 3 things to do, okay? Get a pen ready. Change it into a color that you like. All right. Label all unit fractions. Okay, we have to label all of our unit fractions. I'm going to go ahead and use the label tool because I can write that small. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pieces. So my unit fraction is 1/8. I'm going to make this small, neat fit inside of a piece, and I'm going to duplicate it onto each piece. I have 1/8 pieces. Go ahead and do the same on your screen. This will help us understand how many of the pieces are going to be in our fraction of shaded and total. Our next piece says numerator, number of shaded parts. I'm going to look at my unit fractions and how many are green. The top 4 are green. 1, 2, 3, 4. The bottom 3 are green. 5, 6, 7. So my numerator is a 7. There are 7 shaded parts on this whole. Denominator is the number of all parts. There are 8 parts on this fraction, which is why my fraction is called 8ths. So 7/8. Denominator is 8. The fraction of shaded parts. I'm going to use a label tool and I'm going to make it green like the model. 7 of the 8 parts are shaded? That is your answer in fraction form. 7/8. 7 of the 8 parts are shaded. Okay. What questions can I answer about this so far? Guys, remember, when I don't get questions, it tells me that you understand everything and you're going to get an A+. Okay. Next up, label all unit fractions. Look at this circle. Get your pen ready. Let's put a dot in each piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 parts. So my unit fraction, the name of one piece, is going to be 1/4. I'm going to make that fit inside of one of my pieces, and then I'm going to duplicate it because that is the smarter, not harder way to work. 1/4. This is another 1/4. This is another 1/4. This white one, or this blank one, is also 1/4. Okay. Numerator, number of shaded parts. How many parts are colored green? 1, 2, 3. 3 parts are shaded. Denominator, number of all parts. We already know that that is 4. We've just written it 4 times on our pieces. So the fraction of the shaded parts, or how many parts are green, is 3/4. 3 of the 4 pieces are green. So my fraction of shaded parts is 3/4, not 3/1. That's the mistake that was being made yesterday. You were putting how many were green on top of how many were not green. Denominator notes all parts, whether they are colored or not. Okay. Yes, Terrence, question about fractions and math only. Yes, sir.
Yes. So, in real life, would it be cut off because you can't shade a real life thing?
Yes. Shading is a way that we show if a piece has been used or if a piece is left. You're correct. Because then, like, we're not going to grab a marker and color our birthday cake, right? But it's just showing that that piece has been used or is still there. Great distinction. Very good distinction. Okay. All right. I want you to skip slide 3. If you need to look at an example while you are working, this is a video you can watch on your own if you feel confused. Slide 4 says on your own, but we're going to do the top one together, okay? We're going to do the top one together, and then the rest of this is your independent work. Directions say, label the unit fractions. Add up the shaded unit fraction parts to find the total fraction shaded, okay? So let's count. Get your pen ready, put your dots. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pieces. So my denominator, my bottom number, is going to be a 5. I've been asked to label the unit fractions, which I know, notebook, means 1 part. So 1 part of 5 is written as 1/5. Directions told me to label the unit fractions, so I'm going to make it small enough to fit inside of a piece, and I'm going to duplicate it inside of all of the pieces so that it looks neat. I actually think those should be a tiny bit smaller, so I'm going to make it smaller. That way it looks more neat inside of my model. You should be doing the same thing right now. Duplicating 1/5 5 times because there are 5 1/5 pieces. Step 1, label all unit fractions, is done. Step 2, add up the shaded unit fraction parts to find the total fraction shaded. This is what you are going to do. There are 2 pieces that are blue. 1, 2. This says to add up the shaded unit fractions to find the total fraction shaded. So we're going to write an addition sentence. 1/5 plus 1/5. Because there are 2 parts that are shaded. This is my 2 blue parts. Equals. Now this is very important. Our numerator is going to change. We know that when we have 2 1/5 pieces, we have 2/5. The denominator does not change. This is not 5 plus 5 because that would be 10, and there are not 10 pieces on this model. There are 5. So our 5 stays the same. 1/5 plus 1/5 equals 2/5. We did not add more parts onto this model. Okay? So this is 2/5. 2/5 are blue. Okay? You will complete this same process for the 4ths and the 6ths. Label, count, add. I'm seeing some hand-raised questions for that. Levin, a question.
You go too faster than me.
I apologize. I will stay right here so you have some time to catch up on that. Thanks for letting me know. Terrence, question.
Do we always have to label it?
If the directions tell you to label it, then yes, you do. That means I am grading that and you will get a point for doing it. There may be examples that do not tell you to label the unit fractions, but these do, so yes, you need to do it. Okay, it helps to build our understanding of what a fraction is. All right, you are going to, on your own, complete the rest of slide 4. Levin, I'll come back to slide 4 in a moment. You are also going to complete slide 5, which is the exact same as slide 2. You are going to complete slide 6, which is the exact same as slide 2. You are going to complete slide 7, which is the exact same as what we just completed on slide 4. Adding up the fractions and understanding that the denominator does not change. Slide 8 is a challenge for you. Read the story problem, draw a picture of the pie. Slide 9 is your success criteria. Remember, this is not a choice. If you do not do it, I am sending it back to you until it is completed. You need to use math vocabulary to explain how you know you were successful. Hard, easy, fun, fast are not math vocabulary words for this standard. Okay, so this is what you are going to complete today during your independent work time.